So, in the previous lecture, we have seen the different modes of vibration, the open organ pipes and the closed organ pipes, and the end correction. Now, let us begin with the Doppler effect. Whenever there is a relative motion between the source of sound and observer, focus on the word relative motion. Then, the frequency of sound received or heard by the observer is different than the frequency of sound produced by the source. This phenomena is called the Doppler effect. The Doppler effect is also valid for electromagnetic waves. First, we will see about the sound waves, and then we will see for the electromagnetic waves, that is light wave. The Doppler effect can be observed when source is moving and observer is stationary. It can observed when source is stationary and observer is moving. And it can also be observed when both source and observer are moving. But the condition remains same, that must be a relative motion between source and observer. Here we have to note down one thing. The Doppler effect is symmetric in electromagnetic waves as they do not require any medium to propagate. So, but they are asymmetric. In sound waves. Therefore, we observed frequency of sound when the observer is at rest and source is moving is different from when the observer is moving and source is at rest. So, the formula of Doppler effect is the frequency observed is equals to frequency of source into c plus or minus velocity of observer divided by c plus or minus velocity of source. Here write down the terms. Fo is the frequency observed. Fs is the true or actual frequency of source. Vo is the speed of observer and Vs is the speed of source. Now let us understand this sign convention when the speed is taken positive and when the speed is taken negative. For the sign convention, let's say this is listener L and this is source S. The L to S direction, listener to source direction, is always taken positive. The L to S direction is always taken positive. You can remember it in this way, that in the alphabetical order L comes first and then the S. So L to S is taken positive, so automatically the S to L direction will be negative. So let us see different cases. Case 1, when source is at rest. Now there can be two subcases in that. First, listener is approaching, and the second case where listener is moving away. So let us see these cases one by one. Let's say this is listener, this is source. It is given that source is at rest, so velocity of source will be 0. Now, for the reference, this L to S direction is taken positive. It is given that listener is approaching the source. That means listener is moving towards the source. So the velocity of listener will be in this direction. That will be VO. So VL or VO will be positive. So our formula will be FO is equals to FSC plus VO divided by C. Velocity of source is 0. Here C is the speed of sound in air. So this will be our formula. Here from this formula we can see that the apparent frequency is more than the actual frequency. Now let us see the second case. In the second case, listener is moving away from the source. This is source, this is listener. The source is at rest, so Vs is equals to 0. And for reference, this L to S direction is taken positive. The listener is moving away from the source, so VL will be in this direction. So VL will be negative. So VO, that is VL, that will be negative. So apparent frequency will be Fs into C minus VO divided by C. Here the apparent frequency is less than the actual frequency. Let us see the second case in which the source is moving and listener is at rest. The first case will be when source is approaching the listener. Let's say this is listener and this is source. Here the listener is at rest, so VL will be 0. Source is approaching the listener. For reference, this L to S direction is taken positive. The source is approaching listener, so it will be moving in the opposite direction of reference direction. So Vs will be negative. So the apparent frequency FO will be equal to Fs into C divided by C minus Vs. So here the apparent frequency will be more than the actual frequency. Let us see the second case when listener is at rest and source is moving away from the listener. This is listener and this is source. The L to S direction is taken positive. Now source is moving away from the listener, so this direction is taken positive and listener is at rest. So the apparent frequency FO will be Fs into C divided by C plus Vs. So the apparent frequency will be less than the actual frequency. Now let us see the third case, when both source and listener are moving. In that first case, when both are approaching each other. Let's say this is listener and this is source. For reference, this direction is taken positive. As both are approaching towards each other, the listener will be moving in this direction, so VL will be taken positive and source will be moving towards listener. So Vs will be taken negative as it is in the opposite direction of this reference direction. So frequency observed will be Fs into C plus VL divided by C minus Vs. Now the apparent frequency heard will be more or less than the actual frequency, depends on VL and Vs. The second case, when both are moving away from each other. This is listener and this is source. For reference, this L to S direction is taken positive. Now both are moving away from each other. So listener will be moving in this direction. So VL will be taken negative and Vs will be positive. So apparent frequency will be Fs into C minus VL upon C plus VL. Again, this will be C plus Vs. Again, it will depend on the value of VL and Vs, whether the apparent frequency will be more or less than the actual frequency. In the fourth case, they both are moving in same direction. With different speeds. Because if they both are moving in same direction with same speed, there will not be any relative motion. So let's see, this is S and this is L. For reference, L to S direction is taken positive. First case, if they both are moving in this direction, this is VL and this is Vs. This both are taken negative. So frequency observed will be C minus VL divided by C minus Vs. If they both are moving in this direction, then VL will be positive and Vs will also be positive. So in that case, the apparent frequency will be Fs into C plus VL divided by C plus Vs. So in this way, if we keep this simple concept in our mind that L2S direction is taken positive, and if we remember the formula, we can find the apparent frequency in any case. Now let us see some important points about the Doppler's effect that we have learned. First, it is not symmetric in sound. For example, consider two cases. One in which source is moving, and the second case in which observer is moving. If they both are moving with same relative velocity, the frequency observed in first case is F1 and frequency observed in second case is F2. Then F1 is not equal to F2. So it is not the case that whether object is moving or source is moving, the frequency observed will be same. So it is not symmetric in the case of sound. But yes, it is symmetric in the case of electromagnetic wave. The second case, from the formulas and the cases that we have learned, we can conclude that when the distance between source and listener is decreasing, then the apparent frequency increases. That is, the apparent frequency heard is more than the actual frequency of source. But when the distance between source and listener is increasing, then the frequency observed is less than the frequency of source. The next important point is the effect of motion of medium. Let's say majority time the motion of medium, the medium is air. So when the wind blows, in the direction of sound, then, and in each case we have to write C plus VW, where VW is speed of sound. But when wind blows in the opposite direction of sound, then we will write C minus VW. Let us see the fourth case. There is a stationary listener or stationary observer, and the moving source passes it. The moving source crosses the stationary listener. Initially, the source was approaching, so frequency heard will be more. Now, as the distance is increasing, the frequency heard will be less. So, the frequency change, the delta F, is given by 2c into velocity of source divided by c square minus vs square into n. Now, if vs is very less than v, then in that case the delta F will be equal to 2vs by v into f. So we can write delta F by f is equals to 2vs by c. And the change in wavelength delta lambda will be equal to 2vs by c into lambda. In this case, when now a moving listener crosses a stationary source, that is, the source of sound is at rest and the listener is crossing the source, then the change in apparent frequency delta F will be equal to, initially the distance is decreasing, so the apparent frequency will be more, and then after crossing the distance is increasing, so apparent frequency will be less. So this change in frequency delta F will be 2 times velocity of listener upon c into the actual frequency. So we can write that delta F by Fs is equals to 2vl by c. Now let us see the case of transverse motion. For example, there is a source and a listener is moving around the source on a circular path of radius r with some constant velocity the constant speed vl. If the frequency of source is fs, then what is the frequency observed by this listener? Here we have to consider the component of velocity of listener or the source along the line joining source and listener only. As we can see, the velocity of listener is along the tangent and the component of this VL along the line joining source and listener is 0. So we can say there is no relative motion between source and listener, because we can see that each and every point the distance between the source and listener does not change, it is same as radius everywhere. So there will not be any change in frequency, so frequency observed will be same as the frequency of source. Now let us see an example. A police emits a sound wave of frequency 440 Hz. The speed of sound is 332 meter per second. The siren is moving away from the listener with speed 18 meter per second. and listener is moving towards the siren with speed of 68 meter per second. What is the frequency heard by the listener? Let's say this is listener and this is siren, that is source. It is given that siren is moving away from the listener. So this is Vs, that is 18 meter per second. And the listener is moving towards the siren. So this is VL, that is 68 meter per second. Now for the reference, the L2S direction is taken positive. So both VL and Vs will be positive. So F observed will be Fs into C plus VL divided by C plus Vs. The actual frequency is 440 Hz. C is 332 plus 68 divided by 332 plus 18. So this will give us the answer 502.85 Hz. This is the more than the actual frequency. In next example, a man is traveling in a train towards the station with speed of 50 meter per second. Calculate the apparent frequency heard by him of whistle which is blown at station with frequency 200 Hz. Here the source is stationary and listener is moving towards the source. So the VL will be taken positive, that is 50 meter per second. So frequency observed will be Fs into C plus VL divided by C. So FO will be 200 into 350 plus 50 divided by 350. Simplify this, we will get FO is equals to 228.57 Hz. Here in this question, a policeman on duty detects a drop of 10% in the pitch of the horn of car as it crosses him. If the velocity of sound is 330 meter per second, calculate the speed of car. Here the listener is stationary and source is crossing the listener. In this case, the delta F by F is given as 2 into velocity of source divided by velocity of sound. Here it is given that delta F by F into 100 is equals to 10. So delta F by F will be equal to 1 by 10. So 1 by 10 is equals to 2 into velocity of source, that is car, divided by 330. So velocity of source will be 33 divided by 2. So V will be equal to 15.15 meter per second. This will be 16.5 meter per second. That will be the velocity of car. In this example, a locomotive approaching a crossing at a speed of 20 meter per second. This is source. This is approaching the crossing at speed of 20 meter per second. It sounds the frequency 640 Hz of whistle. What is the frequency observed by the observer? Here, the source is not moving along the line joining source and observer. So we have to consider the component of velocity that is along the line joining source and observer. So for that, first we have to find this angle theta. From this we can write tan theta as root 3 by 1. So theta is equals to 60 degree. So component of velocity along this line will be Vs cos theta. So Vs cos theta will be equal to 20 into cos 60 degree, that is 10 meter per second. Now this is source and this is listener. The listener to source direction is taken positive, so the source to listener direction will be negative. So frequency observed will be Fs into C divided by, here listener is at rest, C minus Vs. So Fo will be, Fs is 640 into here the speed of sound is not given, so let us take it as 330 divided by 330 minus Vs, that is 10. So Fo will be 640 into 330 divided by 320. So Fo will be 660 Hertz. In this example, a car traveling at 33 meter per second head on towards a hill sounds horn of frequency 1000 Hz. We want to find the beat frequency heard by the observer in the car due to reflection from the hill, given the speed of sound is 330 meter per second. Here the car is blowing horn of speed 3,000 Hertz of frequency 1000 Hertz, and it is moving towards the hill with speed 33 meter per second. This sound will be reflected from this hill. The first case where the incident ray are reflected, in that case this car is source and this hill is listener. So in that case the source will be approaching the listener. Now in the second case, when the sound wave is reflected, this surface or this hill will behave as a source and this person sitting in the car will behave as a listener. So in the second case, the listener is moving towards the source. So let us write the equations. In the first case, as the source is moving and it is moving towards the surface or towards the hill, this L to S direction is taken positive in first case and car is moving in opposite direction, so velocity of car will be taken negative. So in that case the frequency observed F dash is equals to V upon V minus C. Here V is the speed of sound and Vc is the speed of car. Now in the second case, this is listener and this is source. The listener is moving towards the source and this direction is taken positive. So in that case the velocity of car is taken positive. So the frequency observed will be F double dash is equals to V plus Vc. Now the car is behaving as a listener and it is moving in the reference direction. So V plus Vc divided by V. Now the frequency will be F dash. Remember, it will not be F, it will be F dash. Now the beat frequency is given by F double dash minus F. So subtract this. F into V plus Vc divided by V minus Vc minus 1. This will give us 2 Vc upon V minus Vc into F. So the beat frequency will be 2. The velocity of car is given 33. Divide by 330 minus 33 into 1000. So the beat frequency heard will be 2000 divided by 9 Hertz. In this example, a car approaching a crossing at 20 meter per second sounds a horn of 500 Hz when 80 meters away from the crossing. A man is standing 60 meters away from the crossing on a perpendicular road. What is the frequency heard by the man? Let us draw the diagram so the situation is clear. This is the car, or we can say it is the source. It is moving in this direction with speed 80 meters per second. When it is at a distance of 80 meters from the crossing, this point is crossing. He is blowing horn. Now, this distance is 60 meters. The person or the observer is standing at this point. We want to find the frequency observed by this person. Again, we have to consider the component of velocity that is along the line joining source and the listener. So first of all, let us find this angle theta. We can write tan theta is equals to 60 divided by 80. So tan theta will be equal to 3 by 4. So theta is 37 degree. If this is 3, this is 4, then this will be the 5. So the component along this will be V cos theta, that is 20 into cos theta will be 4 by 5. So velocity will be 16 meter per second. So along this direction, the velocity will be 16 meter per second. Now let us check the sign. The L2S direction is taken positive. This direction is taken positive. As the sound or source is moving in the opposite direction, the velocity of source will be taken negative. So the frequency heard will be equal to F into V. The observer is at rest, so plus or minus 0 divided by V minus Vs. The frequency of horn is 500. The speed of sound in air is given 300 meter per second. And this is given 330 meter per second. Divided by 330 minus 16. Simplify this, we will get the answer. Frequency observed will be 525.47 Hertz. Now let us discuss the power transmission, intensity and the loudness of a sound wave. When a traveling wave is established on a string, the energy is transmitted along the direction of propagation of the wave. Let us consider a sine wave traveling on a stretched string in x direction. As the wave is traveling in the x direction, the vibration of particle will be along y direction. We are considering such a particle. On each particle, there will be a restoring force acting. Due to that only the oscillation is continued. Let's say that restoring force is F. That is making an angle of theta with the direction of propagation. So we can divide this force into two components. The horizontal component will be F cos theta and the vertical component will be F sin theta. Here F is the restoring force. Now we can write the equation of position as y is equals to a sine of omega t minus kx, and the component of force along y-axis, it is along negative y-axis, so that will be minus f sine theta. As theta is very small, this is approximately written as minus f tan theta, and the tan theta can be written as del y by del x. So fy is written as minus f into del y by del x. Now, from this equation, we can write del y by del x is equals to a. Differentiation of sine will be cos omega t minus kx into minus k, and del y by del t will be equal to a omega cos of omega t minus kx. Now, from this equation, we can write fy is equals to minus f del y by del x can be replaced by this, that is minus ak cos of omega t minus kx. So the y component of force fy is equals to fak cos of omega t minus kx. Now, the power delivered by the force F to the string on the right position x is P is equals to, this is the instantaneous power, so we can write P is equals to Fv. So force will be Fy and V will be del y by del t. Let us put the values in the equation. We can write power is equals to F A K cos of omega t minus kx into del y by del t. Put the value of del y by del t, that is equal to a omega cos of omega t minus kx. So power will be equal to f a square omega k into cos square omega t minus kx. This is the instantaneous power. Now, during one cycle, the average power let us find the average power. For that, we have to find the average value of cos square omega t minus kx. We know that average value of cos square omega t minus kx, any trigonometric function's square, the average value will be 1 by 2. So the P average will be equal to half into f a square k omega. But the speed of sound is given by under root t by mu, that is it can be written as f by mu. So f is equals to v square mu. V is the speed of sound and mu is the linear mass density. So average power will be half f, that is v square mu a square k omega. But omega by k is equals to v. So kv can be written as omega. So P average will be equal to half mu v a square omega square. Here mu is the linear mass density, v is the speed of wave, A is the displacement amplitude and omega is the angular frequency. In case of sound waves, we define intensity of the wave. The intensity is defined as the energy transmitted per unit area per unit time. This energy per unit time is power. So intensity will be half rho A square omega square V. Here rho is the density and that can be written as V delta P naught square divided by 2B. Here B is the bulk modulus and delta P is the pressure amplitude. From this equation, we can conclude two things. The intensity is directly proportional to amplitude square and the intensity is inversely proportional to distance. Now let us see the characteristics of sound. The important characteristics of sound are loudness, pitch and quality. Let us see them one by one. The loudness, it is related to the intensity of sound. It is measured in the unit bell and as log I upon I naught. This I is the intensity of sound to be measured and I naught is the reference intensity or it is also called the threshold intensity. That is 10 power minus 12 watt per meter square. It is the minimum intensity that human can hear. This intensity threshold is found at 1 kilohertz. Now let us see some points about this loudness. The bell is very large unit. So it is more commonly represented as decibel. dB, that is decibel. So 1 bell is equals to 10 decibel. So the loudness in the decibel will be 10 log of I by I naught base 10. The loudness of a sound of given intensity may be different for different listeners. Here we have to understand that loudness is not a physical property. It is not a physical quantity. It is just a property. So the same amount of volume, in general, if I say volume, same amount of volume will be loud for some people and it will be slow for some people. So it have different effects on different listeners. So two sounds of equal intensity but different frequencies may not appear to be equally loud even to the same listener because the sensitivity of ear is different for different frequencies. When the intensity of sound doubles, then the loudness increases almost by 3 dB. Then L dash will be equal to L plus 3 dB. And if intensity quadruples, the loudness increases by 6 dB. That is I double dash is equals to 4 times of I then L double dash will be L plus 6 dB. If it is 8 times, then this will be 12 dB, and so on. Some common sound levels in decibels are: the whispering is around 10 dB, the normal talk is around 60 dB, the car horn is about 100 dB, and the maximum tolerable sound is 120 dB. Again, it will vary from person to person. The next quantity is pitch. Pitch is related to frequency. That means pitch depends on frequency. It will decide the shrillness or flatness of sound. The meaning of shrillness or flatness is most girls have the shrill sound compared to the voice. So, if frequency is high, then pitch is also high and the sound is shrill. If the frequency is low, then pitch is low, then sound is flat. The next important characteristics of sound is quality. A particular sound may have number of frequencies and overtones attached to it. That makes its quality. We can recognize a person by listening to his sound as it has a definite quality. Note if same note is played on different instruments, say harmonium and guitar, we can recognize them due to their quality. So quality is the characteristics that differentiate between two sounds having same frequency, loudness, and intensity. Even though they have same frequency, loudness, and intensity, we can differentiate between two sounds, that is based on the characteristic, that is quality. Let us see the supersonic speed and shock waves. If a source is moving towards a stationary detector at a speed which is equal to the speed of sound, then the detected frequency will be infinitely large. This means that the source is moving so fast that it keeps pace with its own spherical wave fronts. This is the wave fronts created by the source at different points, but the source is moving with speed of sound, so it is keeping the pace with its own spherical waves. Now, if the speed of source is greater than speed of sound, now it is moving even faster. For such supersonic speeds, this kind of speeds are called supersonic speeds. Equation derived in Doppler's effect is not applied because it is the very large change. Now, as shown in figure, the spherical wavefront is originated as various position of source. Initially, it was at position S1. It has created some spherical wavefront. So, at different position, it has been creating the spherical source. Let Vt be the radius of any wavefront. Vt is the radius of any wavefront where t is the time that has elapsed since the source has emitted that wavefront. For example, at point S1 it has emitted some sound with speed v. After time t, it should have reached at this point. The wavefronts extended in 3 dimensions are in the shape of cone. This cone is called the Mach cone. The shock wave exists along the surface of this cone. Because bouncing of wavefronts causes an abrupt rise and fall in air pressure as the surface passes through the any point. The half angle of the cone, theta, is called cone angle, and that theta is given by sin theta is equals to Vt by Vst. So sin theta will be equal to V by Vs. Here the ratio Vs by V is called the Mach number. Vs is the speed of source and V is the speed of sound in air. Now let us see some examples based on the concepts that we have seen so far. In this example, the energy is transmitted at rate P1 by a wave of frequency nu1 on a string with tension T1. What is the new transmission rate in terms of P1 if the tension is increased to 4T1 and the wave frequency is decreased to nu1 by 4? Here we have to assume that the amplitude does not change. The velocity of wave is given by under root T by mu. So V1 will be T1 by mu1, but mu will be same. The new velocity V2 will be equal to under root 4T1 divided by mu. So that will be equal to 2V1. Also, the omega 1 is 2 pi f1 and omega 2 is equals to 2 pi f2. That is equals to 2 pi f1 by 4. So omega 2 will be equal to omega 1 by 4. Now, the power is given by P1 is equals to half mu1 omega 1 square V1 A square, and P2 will be half mu2 omega 2 square V2 A square. Mu1 and mu2 are same, so taking the ratio, this will get cancelled out. So P1 by P2 will be equal to omega 1 by omega 2 whole square into V1 by V2. So P1 by P2 will be equal to omega 1 by omega 2 will be 4 whole square into V1 by V2 will be 1 by 2. So P1 by P2 will be equal to 8. So P2 will be equal to P1 by 8. This will be the new rate of power transfer in the form of P1. What is the intensity of sound of 70 decibel? Here the loudness is 10 log of I by I naught base 10. So 70 is equals to 10 log I by I naught base 10. So I upon I naught is equals to 10 power 7. So I will be I naught 10 power 7. I naught is the threshold intensity, that is 10 power minus 12 into 10 power 7. So I will be 10 power minus 5 watt per meter square. In this example, a source of sound of frequency 2000 Hz and a detector are located at a same point in space at t is equals to 0. The source starts moving away from detector with constant acceleration 15 meter per second square. What is the frequency of sound registered by the detector at t is equals to 34 second, given the speed of sound is 340 meter per second? So let the sound detector receives sound at t is equals to t second and it was released by the source at t is equals to t1 second. This is received and this is released. So obviously t will be greater than t1. So we can use the second equation of motion, that is s is equals to ut plus half a t1 square. This is the distance traveled by the source in t1 time, is equals to v into t minus t1. This is the distance traveled by the sound. And this is distance by source. So from this we can write a t1 square plus 2vt1 minus 2vt is equals to 0. So t1 will be equal to minus 2v plus or minus under root 4v square plus 8avt divided by 2a. The velocity of sound at time t1 will be equal to, velocity of source at time t1 will be equal to at1. So vs is equals to minus v plus under root v square plus 2a vt. The velocity of source will be minus v plus under root v square plus 2a vt. So let us use the Doppler's formula. F dash is equals to f into v upon v plus vs. That is equals to f into v divided by under root v square plus 2a vt. Put the values, we can find f dash to be 1000 Hz. Now let us see some previous year questions from this chapter. A tuning fork with frequency 800 Hz produces resonance in a resonance column tube with upper end open and lower end closed by the water surface. The successive resonance are observed at lengths 9.75 cm, 31.25 cm and 52.75 cm. What is the speed of sound in air? This is resonance tube. The first was heard at 9.75 centimeter. Let's say this is L1. The second was heard at 31.25 centimeter. This is 31.25 centimeter. And the third was heard at 52.75 centimeter. So we can write L1 is equals to 9.75 centimeter, L2 is equals to 31.25 centimeter, and L3 is equals to 52.75 centimeter. Let's say E represents the end correction. So for the first case, we can write lambda by 4 plus E is equals to 9.75 centimeter. For the second case, we can write lambda by 2 plus lambda by 4 plus E is equals to 31.25 centimeter. That is 3 lambda by 4 plus E is equals to 31.25 centimeter. For the fourth case, we can write lambda plus lambda by 4 is equals to 52.75 centimeter. That is 5 lambda by 4 is equals to 52.75 centimeter. Now, from these two equations, if we subtract these two equations, we can write 3 lambda by 4 plus E minus lambda by 4 minus E is equals to 31.25 minus 9.75. This E will get cancelled out. This will be 2 lambda by 4, that is equals to lambda by 2 is equals to 21.5. So lambda will be equal to 43 centimeter. Now the speed of sound in air, V is equals to F lambda. The frequency is given 800 into lambda, that is 43 into 10 power minus 2. So speed of sound in air will be 344 meter per second. This question was asked in NEET 2018. In this question, the fundamental frequency in an open organ pipe is equal to the third harmonic of a closed organ pipe. If the length of closed organ pipe is 20 centimeter, what is the length of an open organ pipe? The fundamental frequency of an open organ pipe. This is open organ pipe. In the fundamental mode, there will be only one node. So the frequency will be V by 2LO. Let's say the length of open organ pipe is LO. Now it is matching with the third harmonic of closed organ pipe. That will be F is equals to 3V by 4L. So these two are same. This is length of closed organ pipe, and given LC is equals to 20 centimeter. So we can compare this. V upon 2LO is equals to 3V upon 4LC. This V will get cancelled out. So 1 upon 2LO is equals to 3 upon 4LC. So 2LC is equals to 3LO. So length of open organ pipe will be 2 into length of closed is given 20 divided by 3. So length of open organ pipe will be 13.33 centimeters. Let us see the next example. This was asked in NEET 2017. the two nearest harmonics of a tube closed at one end and open at other end are 220 Hz and 260 Hz. What is the fundamental frequency of the system? Here, the two successive frequencies of the closed pipe. Let's say one is Nv upon 4L, that is equals to 220, and the other is N plus 2 V upon 4L, that is equals to 260. Here we are taking N plus 2 because there are only odd harmonics present. Divide this two, we can get N divided by N plus 2 is equals to 220 divided by 260. So N divided by N plus 2 is equals to 11 divided by 13. So 13N will be equal to 11N plus 22. So 2N is equals to 22. So N will be equal to 11. We want to find the fundamental frequency. Here it is given Nv by 4L is equals to 220. So 11 into V by 4L is equals to 220. The fundamental frequency is V by 4L, that is equals to 220 divided by 11. So V by 4L will be equal to 20 Hz. This question was asked in NEET 2016. A siren emitting sound of frequency 800 Hz moves away from an observer and towards a cliff at a constant speed of 15 meters per second. What is the frequency of sound that the observer hears in the echo reflected from the cliff? Let's say this is cliff. The observer 15 meters per second and the source, it is moving towards the cliff at 15 meters per second. So F dash will be equal to V upon V minus Vs into F. The speed of sound in air is given 330 divided by 330 minus 15 into 800. So simplifying this, we will get F dash is equals to 838 Hz. This question was asked again in NEET 2016. A uniform rope of length L and mass M hangs vertically from rigid support. A block of mass M2 is attached to the rope at the free end. A transverse pulse of wavelength lambda 1 is produced at the lower end of the rope. The wavelength of the pulse when it reaches the top of the rope is lambda 2. What is the ratio of lambda 2 by lambda 1? A rope, it has length L and mass M1. An object, a block of mass M2 is hanged. The wavelength lambda is V by F and V is equals to under root T by mu. So lambda 2 by lambda 1 is equals to V2 by V1. That is equals to the mass per unit length will same. So V2 by V1 can be written as under root T2 by T1. T2 will be when both are connected, that is M1 plus M2 upon T1, that is due to only row. So lambda 2 by lambda 1 will be under root M1 plus M2 upon M1. In this question, which was asked in AIPMT 2015, the fundamental frequency of closed pipe of length 20 centimeter is equal to the second overtone of an open organ pipe. What is the length of organ pipe which is open at both the ends? The frequency of closed pipe will be V by 4 into length of closed pipe. And the frequency of open organ pipe, that is the third overtone, that will be 3V by 2LO. These two frequencies are same, so we can write V by 4LC is equals to 3V by 2LC. This V will get cancelled out, so we can write LO is equals to 6LC. So length of open organ pipe will be 120 centimeter. This question was asked in AIPMT 2014. If N1, N2 and N3 are the fundamental frequencies of three segments into which a string is divided, then the original fundamental frequency N of the string is given by. Let us first draw the diagram. Let's say the length of whole string is L. It is divided into three segments of length, let's say L1, L2 and L3. Total length will be given by L1 plus L2 plus L3. The fundamental frequency of L1 is N1, of L2 is N2 and of L3 is N3. So L, that is equal to 1 upon 2n. The frequency in a stretched string is given by 1 upon 2l under root T by mu. So length will be equal to 1 upon 2f under root T by mu. Here the tension applied is same and mass per unit length will also be same. So L will be 1 upon 2n under root T by mu is equals to L1 will be 1 upon 2n1 under root T by mu plus 1 upon 2n2 under root T by mu plus 1 upon 2n3 under root T by mu. This 1 by 2 and under root T by mu will get cancelled out. So we can write 1 by n is equals to 1 by n1 plus 1 by n2 plus 1 by n3. So 1 by n will be n2 n3 plus n1 n3 plus n1 n2 divided by n1 n2 n3. So n will be equal to n1 n2 n3 divided by n1 n2 plus n2 n3 plus n3 n1. So this will be the frequency of a original string. So this is all for today's chapter. Thank you. All the best. So